Yo, what's going on? It's Adrian Marcel, and you tuned in with my man JoelBazile.com. Check it out.
Here at Blakesley Recording Studio, North Hollywood, talking about Adrian Marcel. That's right. This mixtape is special. I'm presenting this mixtape to you, to the world. You gotta check it out. This cat is, I don't even want to use the word hot. That's kind of, trendy. This cat is just really good. He's about his work. So, I'm presenting it to you to let you know it's real. It's real. It has great 808s. It's banging in your car.
Man, I met Raphael Sadiq in 2014. I was working on some music. We had mutual people that we had worked with. We started kind of just talking about music. We both from East Oakland, so that vibe was just kind of like natural and organic, heard my music, and we immediately just kind of started, bouncing off ideas and working and things. He would listen to some of the records, like, man, I can hear a guitar, a bass, what have you on this, and it really turned into a mentorship sort of get down, like he was always just giving me free game, just kind of giving me things that would help my mental space, in the industry. He has a lot of history and has had a lot of success in the industry as well. So, to be able to get that light and that enlightenment from him was imperative.
I do to you. Oh, you high. I'm always high. Talk to me. Will you hurt me? You tormented me my whole life. My entire life, man.
Making a transition from just being known as a singer to actor, I mean, it was crazy. I enjoyed it. I love just being creative, in any genre or any type of way that I can. I'm somebody who just likes to try new things and try different things, and I've always loved acting. So, when I was able to audition for the Bobby DeBarge story, it was interesting because it was kind of like it was a little scary. I've never really had to dive into a script that was that deep. The James's part in the movie is he's a big role because this is sort of like the point where Bobby realizes that some of the things that he's done haven't been the best. He's abused his brother, he's abused himself. So it's that turnaround part for Bobby, and James has to portray that hurt, that pain. So auditioning and reading the script and trying to bring those words to life, was a different thing for me, but I really enjoyed it. It's sort of no different from, bringing lyrics to life, over a record. You have to deliver it. You have to make sure that people can feel it, but I had a great time, man. I got to jump into a different character and try something new, try something different. There were people who didn't even recognize me. Like, I didn't even know that was Adrian. In it, I had the lace front popping and everything, so it was cool just to dive into somebody else,
But I can't go for that. We did a lot of things, baby. Well, I can't go for that. It's a lot of things, baby.
She a savage, but she pretty. I remember it was all good everywhere I went. She was with me. Yeah, she probably want me cause I win. She ain't been down in the beginning. Yeah, something about when you're in the wrong, it get way harder to admit. I keep some bad bras in my business. Damn girl, I ain't perfect, but
the latest single that I released, Can't Go For That feature, and the Can't Go For That remix featuring Casey Veggies. It's super dope, man. So it comes off the album 98th, which I released and executive produced May 2019. It's one of two of the, in my opinion, Heartbreak Records on the project, and at the same time, for me being from East Oakland, having that sort of like, best of both worlds when it comes to, being emotional, but also being able to still keep a certain, still keep a certain strength and not sort of like bash on women. You know what I mean? It's a record where you're just saying, I can't go for that, and I got the idea, the content from, that old record, I can't go for that. No, that record. I just love I love the context of it. It spoke so much without saying, you say I'm hurt, but I'm not weak. and I feel like for me that's something that I find harder to portray sometimes. So I felt like it was a record that I really wanted to go with and put out because I didn't feel like I was hearing that. A lot of records are either, very, I'm all the way hurt, I can't get over this, or I'm not hurt enough because I'm just, untouchable type thing, but this is that fine medium, in the record because it's telling you that I am hurt, but I'm not out. I can dip before I sit here and cry about it. I could dip, so you might want to get it together.
In the back with the sunroof top, taking out to sea with my babe. I done fell in love with everything you are. I love the way I feel with you.
It's just in.
I fucking love him. She do love him. I fucking love Adrian Marcel, okay? Every fucking song.
Band in the stands, band in the stands. When everybody doubted you would scream, yes you can. You are my cheerleader, my cheerleader. I is now number one.
Yeah, man, the 98th Tour 2020 experience, man, it's awesome. We kicked it off January 27th in New York. Been through all through the East Coast. We just did Atlanta, the other day, and it was a crazy energy. Crazy energy. I put the 98th project out in May, and I told myself that, after I executive produced my first project, that I wanted to executive produce a tour for it as well. And really get out and see the people. Really get out and push the music and push the experience of what I feel is the spirit of 98th and where that comes from. 98th and Mac is the block I moved to, the area I moved to when I was 15, and when I really started to take music serious. So with this tour, it's me bringing that energy, to my fans and to my supporters, and it's just been so infectious, from this point so far. Everybody that comes out, they have a great time. They give the energy back. And it's nothing like being able to go to these cities, on your terms, and touch the people, and just let them know that, you're evolving and you're going to, another level, mentally and physically. So. Yeah, so Marcel University is my nonprofit organization that I started in 2019 as well. It's basically a mentorship program for the youth, for young artists, young talented artists, and it's just empowering the youth to believe in themselves. A lot of artists go through, they go through their careers chasing a dream, chasing, what they think and what has been portrayed to them as, what is success, being signed and, having a machine behind you, but not realizing that they can be the machine behind themselves. They can invest in themselves. A lot of artists just see show money. They just see the lights and fame and their name and lights and everything, but they don't realize that, at the end of the night, your name is scraped off and a new name is put up. At the end of the day, you're number one for however long, and then next thing you know, it's, a newcomer. There's so many other avenues to make revenue for yourself, based in this industry that they're not telling you, just empowering them to know about their masters, know about their royalties, their mechanical royalties, their copyrights, what that is, digital distribution, what's the difference between that and being signed to a label, ownership versus partnerships. A lot of it is just them not knowing the business and not understanding how much power they actually have before they give it away. And I know even for myself, I've been a victim of it, and I know artists that are today still, who seem very successful, but they've never registered their music, or they've never, collected a royalty or their masters, or they don't know the difference, from their deal to this person's deal. They don't understand contracts. They don't understand words like perpetuity, things like that. It's just things that we're enlightening the youth on, so that they can go further, than we have. I know that my predecessors, a lot of them didn't, become moguls based on them just being artists. So for me, I wanted to take that step. And as I'm taking that step into my entrepreneurship, I want to give them that same light to do the same. You know, it's not always about the name you have or the clout you have. You know, you can create your foundation that can sustain you for a lifetime and sustain your family, you know, and you don't necessarily need a label to do that. And just really just knowing what's up, so that if you do go to a label, at least you understand the talk and you can walk it with them, you know. Oh, so the first record, the first joint I picked up is John B. Cool Relax. This is this is crazy because when I moved to 98th, you know, around that time, I was getting ready to go start high school, and I was started at Oakland School for the Arts, and it was a new phase for me because it was a new school. Never seen a charter school before. I never been around so many like artists and talented kids, other than myself or whatever for for my life. So this this project was the first project that I listened to um, prepare for my audition. So I actually sang one of the songs off of this record to get into the school, and it was the "Don't Talk, Baby, Just Groove with Me, Take a Sip, kinda got you feeling dizzy. It's alright with me if it's alright with you, oh baby." It was crazy, my voice scratchy, but yeah, it was dope. So I'll never forget this project, man. It had a lot of hits on it, and John B was like the man. So shout out to John B too. That's the homie. The second one I picked up, is the Brandy joint. This joint right here is like, it's the epitome of R&B for me. You know what I mean? Like the I remember my sisters and them. They'll be riding around. My sister had an old black Honda Civic, man, and it was like the dopest car to be in, man. I felt like I was grown when I rode around with her, man, and she was always slapping Brandy, and especially this album. So we would ride around, and she'd have me in the passenger seat, or really the back seat, because I was small, and she had me singing all the records, man. So this is dear to me. This is dear to me, and the fact that you got it on tape like that, that's because this is what we were listening to, tape. The third one is Montel Jordan, Let's Ride. You know, this was like my brother's joint here. So Montel Jordan was like a part of my entire middle school years. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy because, I thought he was like one of the coolest dudes ever, and he was super tall. And I actually met him once when I was a kid too. So that's what really made me get into Montel Jordan. And my next single has a little Montel Jordan type of feel in it, so be on the lookout for that. So had to pick the Montel joint. Fourth is my man Joe. Joe, man. Joe's the man who, if I couldn't sing Joe, man, I felt like I couldn't sing, and I hated it. It was like this dude was like the epitome of a real R&B singer, like crooner, singer, sanger, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Joe was the man. Still is the man, though. Like, to this day, still killing stages, still doing his thing, man. So, I remember always riding around, on the bus, slapping this one. And because I was always old, so everybody was on the hip hop and the new stuff, man. I was into this real R&B joint. So if y'all ever wonder why, my music sounds the way it does, it's because I listen to artists like Joe, man, and specifically records like this one. So this was really dope. And last but certainly not least, my man Mace. Man, this time in general, it wasn't really about the project itself. It was more about the time. I just remember music being at a certain all-time high, around this time, and especially like R&B. Like, when I see this, I see like Genuine, 100%. You know what I'm saying? I see like the old school Usher type joint. You know what I mean? This was like on every girl that I knew, you know, in their house. This was like a poster, and all I can think about is what's that old magazine? Word Up. This makes me think of Word Up magazine, man, and I would always be at Walgreens, and I would be taking out the pictures in the books, you know, and thinking that was okay. Like, no, I'm just gonna take this picture out of here, you know. But I would take all the pictures out the books and stuff, and I just remember this, you know, girls always doing that to Mace, man, and it just takes me back to that time, man. So this is really dope. This was crazy to see this. I haven't seen this in forever, and now I want to remake this picture. So.